What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio. A lot of stuff to discuss tonight, Dentarius. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing? I know it's a lot of things that is going on in the NBA, but it is getting closer to the time to open things back up. So I'm definitely excited about that.
Yes, a lot of things to discuss. A lot of topics to go over tonight. We'll discuss on tonight's episode. The NBA teams, all 22 teams are in the bubble now. So we'll discuss that and then give our reactions, how everything looks so far, and how on the front how the players are treating it and viewing it. Also, these politicians want to tell these athletes to stick to sports, but they keep on injecting themselves into it. So we'll discuss that as well. And other news and tidbits as well around the game of basketball. But D-Lock, the NBA players, they're in the bubble, all 22 teams. What are your first reactions seeing these guys in the bubble, practicing in the in these hotel ballrooms and whatnot? What's your first general thoughts of everything right now?
My general thought is they did get everything moving as planned. I really feel like it was meant. So they were, once they put the plan in order, they put everything together, they signed off. They knew that this was going to happen regardless. It felt like, hell, even if LeBron had tested positive, not saying that he did, but if he did, I think they should go with this lead. So I think they still move forward. So I think that it's a great thing. Like I said, we do the world right now, especially we're definitely wanting sports right now, something that's going on. It's been so long. We are appreciating every sport and everything that's going on right now. But I do think that it's going to be a sight to see. Great to see games come back. But it's going to be very interesting how this bubble works. Are they going to be offering masks 24/7 to different people? Like, how is it going to be the breakdown? This is going to be something that we haven't seen before, especially with, like I said, with COVID going as crazy as it is in the same state that all of these teams are in. Speaking of that, I believe that Florida just had 15,000 cases recently. So like I said, it's going to be very interesting. But I am excited for NBA to be back.
Yeah, and we seen the picture of Joel Embiid coming in a hazmat suit, and I know he's probably kidding, but in the same breath, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. But
Yeah.
all the players, they show up in their mask. They seem ready to go. Some of the pictures, the teams have showed that these guys are zeroed in.
That's big. That's what I know you've seen the post by LeBron. So seeing his post is a big motivator unless you know that he's definitely ready. And obviously we don't see quiet posts, anything like that on IG, but I'm pretty sure he is just about as focused as any other player. And other players as well, Giannis and all the other guys. So it's great to see these teams be back, man. I'm really excited for it. But I just hope that, and I believe we do know that the NBA is taking all precautionary. They're making sure that this virus does not spread to any of these players, anybody else around it.
Yeah, and hopefully, things go well, in these beginning stages. Because like I said, we discussed this the past couple weeks. These guys are the guinea pigs. Well, I don't say guinea pigs, but they're the first major case in the United States, sports league wise. And I know the UFC and others have been doing their thing, but this is a real testament. Like, a whole bunch of group of people, and especially conveying in one spot, It's been really interesting to see how things go about for the league. These guys seem like they're in great spirits. I seen I think it was Montrezl Harrell. He went fishing. He caught a fish. Stuff like that.
Yeah, swimmers too.
Yeah. Chris Paul and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing cornhole with each other. So, I think these guys got to make the best out of the situation. But you're there.
Yeah.
You're there to win the championship. I think that's the main goal, D-Lock. Is they there to win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's the part where it's a little bit more business than pleasure. So they have to focus in. Majority of the time, they're going to be at practice, or at a game. Even though they have all these different rules, a lot of these rules should be too hard to follow because you are there for one reason only. But we are talking about 22 teams, about 12 to 15 players.
Yep.
In one city. So right now you're going to be running into all these other players in these different areas, and also we're talking about Orlando. We're talking about Disney World capital.
Yeah.
So this is going to be somewhere where you got to be disciplined. Now majority of these players don't get to the NBA without being disciplined. So they have the capabilities, but now it's just about being in the right place, doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it's going to show on the court because, like I said, we're going to see the chemistry difference. We're going to see all that stuff throughout this next month. And I've been hearing, watching different shows, they're talking about how it's going to be an asterisk as NBA final or NBA champion this year. That doesn't matter. I don't think it's going to be an asterisk.
No.
The more I think about it, just because at the end of the day, every team has to go through the same thing. So it's about being disciplined. So if the Brooklyn Nets find a way to go to the NBA championship and win, it's not going to have an asterisk on it. So I think that this is going to show how important these teams feel about, the passion they have for the sport and how bad they want to win.
Yeah, and if some of these players, are not liking the situation, you gotta make the best out of it, best you can. I mean, you can't half step it because I think a lot of these teams that are in it will probably kind of gauging some of these players, see how they react to things and stuff like that, to different changes and stuff like that. So, for example, let's go with James Harden, for example. James Harden is kind of off his game and stuff like that, which I don't think he won't. But, if some of these other teams may have their eye on James Harden down the line, they might like, well, back in 2020, he really engaged. He wasn't really feeling it. He was sneaking out, going to the local strip club in Orlando, stuff like that. I think, we talked about this before the show. You've been overseas. You done meets across, overseas. You mentioned once you got done with the meet, you just chill in your room for a few days till your next run.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate kind of how that is similar to what these players are going to go through for the next 3 months?
Well, I mean, right now, they are going to be basically because when I was really running professional a lot, I'd go overseas to different meets. I would be over there for a little bit of time. So I'd be over there between 30 to about 90 days. So I would be in an uncomfortable place, basically, far from home. So majority of the time I would be in a hotel or going or staying at different hotels. So if I was to run in London one day on Monday and I had to run in France 2 weeks later, I would stay in London for a couple of days and then go to France, prior to the race, a couple of days prior to the race. So at the end of the day, I'm still in a hotel, hotel. So players are going to have something similar. The only difference is they're not traveling anywhere. They're all in the same city, right? They're going to be going back to the same hotel. This is the reason why they flew in. They grabbed as much stuff as they have, their game system, their TV they want to bring, their laptop, Netflix, whatever. They brought all that stuff because they know this is where they're going to be. They're going to go to practice and go back to room 104 or whatever hotel number or room they are in, right? This is what they're going to do. They're going to do that, go to practice, go to the game, and come back. So they want to make it as homey as they can. So even if that means bringing your favorite blanket that you sleep in or your favorite pillow or whatever the case may be, that is what they're taking with them. So at some point, a lot of these guys, especially guys, I'm pretty sure like I oversee like Luka, the guy that did AAU basketball a lot, they know what this feels like. Even professional, NBA, most players feel like it because they're traveling a lot already. But now you're just in one city, and this is where you're going to be. So this is what they're going to experience. They're going to go, like I said, go to practice, see the same guy, go to these random different places to eat in this city, and go straight back to that same room. It's not going to be, okay, well, we're the Lakers and we're going to travel to Atlanta to play the Hawks and then go travel to Brooklyn to play the Nets. No, they're going to go to practice in Orlando to the practice facility, then go play Brooklyn one day, wait a couple days, and go back to a different court in Orlando to play the next team. So this is what they're going to experience for a while. Now, that means also that some of these guys that don't play, that they may possibly, they want to, I'm sure, can go to a game that day. So there may be times where we see LeBron watching Milwaukee and Brooklyn play. Those are the possibilities because, like I said, you're in the same city.
Yep.
So all of these things are going to be available, and this is what we would expect to happen. Only thing is now, it's a good thing it's only 30 days, between 30 and 45 days, because, dude, I'm telling you from my experience, being in the same city, or I'm sorry, not just being in the same city, but staying in the hotel for over 45 days, it kind of starts to a little bit. At some point, you'll be ready to go home. Let me just say that. At some point, you want to sleep in your own bed. So this is where that is where things are going to get kind of hectic. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're going to be at a point to where it's like, damn, okay, can I go home? Can I at least get in my own bed?
Yeah.
Can I see my kids? Can I go to my swimming pool? All of these things that these $1 million players are able to do, they won't have access to a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of great things they can do there, but their custom life that they're used to, they won't be able to do as often. Or there's something that will be stripped away from them just for, a month and a half.
Yeah, I can, remember when my dad was in the military and we were moving around, and before we got our, house, if any of y'all know about military life, apply for housing and you gotta wait a little bit, until you get into it for the maintenance people could, do what they gotta do, fix up with the house and all that good stuff. And I remember at different times in life, D-Lock, we stayed in hotels and stuff like that for a little bit. And it's cool for, at a young age, it was cool for a few days and stuff like that. But after a while, me in the room, you kind of want to branch out. You play in the hallway and stuff like that, younger brother and stuff like that. But then again, you can't be loud and stuff like that because you got to be courteous to the, other people staying around you. And, depending on, the situation, sometimes we be in there for a good couple weeks or so and stuff like that. And then, after a while, you can't go out all the time. You got to cook your own food and at the hotel and stuff like that. And it's just like you mentioned, after a while, your mental kind of goes, I don't say cuckoo, but you think about everything. It's like damn, I want to go to Whataburger right now, In and Out.
Yeah, you want to do something different. Yeah.
Damn, I want to go to the ocean. I can't go to the ocean. I'm stuck here. Like the teams in California or Florida got that luxury to go, to the beach and stuff like that. Instead, get that fresh air. Instead, you're there in this bubble. But, I'll test that my experience with that, kind of like what these guys gonna go through. You showed me this video where Jay Williams said that these guys shouldn't complain and stuff like that. That they're doing a lot better than what me and you probably do and others out there in the country, or the 40 million people unemployed. I agree with him. I agree with him to a point. Yeah, these guys are getting real taken care of. Yeah, these guys getting food, some of the best food out of this world. Eating better than you, me, and my next door neighbor here. But at the same time, though, yes, these guys are living different lifestyles. Yes, all that stuff. But like we talked last week or so, these dudes got habits.
Yep.
And we saw a tweet on Twitter like this girl getting invited already to the bubble.
already getting the Uber sent to her place already to get her to go down to 407. Basically.
Yeah, basically.
Like I understand what he's talking about, but again, like you said, this is a scenario where they have the lifestyle that they're used to.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just think that you're gonna just put them all in this different area and say, okay, well, you can't do this and you can't do that, and for them to say, okay, that's not how it works. I understand that you want to, speak up and say, well, hey, you guys should not be complaining. But for one, we talked about this months ago when they were considering bringing it back. These are the questions that you have to answer. Like, when you do bring this back, you do realize people are not going to just be like, okay, cool, well, let's just, do whatever you ask and we're fine with it. No. You put them in a scenario where, for one, next year is still in jeopardy now. How next year can play out. We haven't even talked about that yet. You take them down to this city where, for one, the cases are, third right now, I think, in the country, behind New York and Cali. So,
I believe so.
Up there between there. Yeah, go ahead.
I believe so. From what I saw, that they are up there. I know in the South, well, not counting Texas, but I know those other states, I think they're considered one of the higher. They are the highest ones. So
it's for me. I get that he is saying not to complain, X, Y, and Z, but it's tough. That's a tough thing to say, because that's kind of similar to just saying, well, just don't complain and play. That, what I'm saying? Like, I don't really, I kind of agree, but then again, I don't, because now it's kind of like, okay, well, don't worry about your feelings too much. Don't complain as much because other people have worse. So just take the scenario that you're in, be grateful, and play. I don't really rock with that too much, because at the same time, you do have that feeling to say, well, hey, I'm really not too comfortable with this. Remember, this is a players' league. We've been talking about this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
This is a players' league. So yes, they're going to feel some type of way about where they stand, what they can eat, because this is not what they're accustomed to, as we said before. If you're used to having the chef come and cook for you for 7 days,
yep,
and now you have to go to a place where you may get a chef to cook for you once, and now you have to find something to eat for those next 6 days. Do you know how big of a deal, and Jay Williams should know this, how big of a deal as being a former athlete, like how it's going to affect your performance? So a lot of these things are, well, hey, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do this, or I feel uncomfortable. if they're just saying that I feel uncomfortable, yeah, you're going to feel uncomfortable because instead of seeing that same chef for 7 days, you get one chef cooking for you once. And that's not exactly what's going on. We're just seeing the difference. Instead of getting a massage maybe 5 times out the week to be prepared for a couple games, you get a masseuse twice. So yeah, I will feel bothered about that. Yeah, I will feel kind of like, hey, well, I will make my adjustments to it, but I just want to say, hey, this is kind of, a little different for me. I'm not really used to it. I wish it was a little different. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Yeah.
But the problem is with me is, are you telling me, or are you saying that, well, they shouldn't feel any kind of way at all? They should just go ahead and take, well, hey, we're grateful. Let's just be in this position, and we should not have any bother. We should not be bothered at all by this. I don't agree with that because, you got to still express how you feel. Just because you express doesn't mean that you walk around with your lips poked out and now you don't want to practice. Or they're not saying that. They're just saying, well, hey, I am a little uncomfortable with how this is. Okay, cool. I understand. We'll try to make adjustments, make things a little bit easier or more accustomed to your lifestyle. But at the same time, this is what we can offer. We can't offer everything because, I'm sorry, we can't do X, Y, and Z, but we can try our best. So, like I seen the video and I understood it, but at the same time, I'm like thinking to myself, what did you expect when you're forcing the league for one to start, and you have people in the league that are still testing positive?
Yeah, I agree with that. And
so if that's happening,
yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said, and I add this as well. You live in Florida. You mentioned, about 15,000 new cases of COVID-19 reported today. 15,000. You got Disney World opening up amongst all this in Orlando as well.
In Orlando. Yep.
My thing with Jay, was saying, I got, one thing I kind of wish he was said, spoke out for, these players have more of a voice, if we're going to come back and play in this, let's evaluate everything. Yes, Florida may open up everything up, but is that the best place for everybody? With all these cases coming up, the leadership there ain't really taking charge compared to other states.
Right.
Why can't we just, look at different situations in different states and see what we can do? Like the mountain states in like Wyoming or Montana, something like that.
Correct. This is all the other areas that could have been considered, but we talked about this, and I don't know. I mean, dude, even me, I'm looking at how I'm like, okay, we talked about the fact that we knew that the league was coming back late July. We've known this for a while, and over this time, I've still been seeing people test positive in the sport. Mm-hmm. And then, not only that, you have while people in the sport is testing positive, you have the state that they're going to. It's rising. The cases are rising. So these considerations should have been thought about a little bit more. But it just feels more so of a force to me. Like, okay, we're going to get this rolling no matter what, more so by any means. I mean, I know they're taking precautionary, they're looking at everything, making sure everything is going good with the rules. But if a rule is broken, do they stop the league or do they keep pressing forward? So these are the things that you're going to have to deal with. Now, like I said, I appreciate the fact that the league is back. It's just that their approach could have been a little bit better. And it's easier for us to talk about it because we're more so fans. But imagine if you see what happens when a few players come out and say something, oh, I don't feel too comfortable. people are against him for it. People are, oh, well, you really didn't want to play, or, we should do this. Now, like I said, it would be different if LeBron would have said something a little bit different than what he said, or Kawhi, or these big names in the NBA would have pressed a different issue as far as playing. We may be seeing different results. But at the same time, it's like I said last week, we're finding out how big of a players league this is now. It was a huge comparison to the NFL. The NBA is a lot more free. Yes, it is. But now the pressure is on. And if we really I really wish they would have gotten like a poll of how players really, really felt, and not just the owners or the front office, just to see, how they really feel about this. Because, I mean, you have people who want to play, yes, but there are some, I'm almost positive, that are not saying anything because of how people would look at it, how it would look for their comfort, the fact that they are looking out for their family. This is a little off different sport, but Donovan Smith, the top for the Bucks, just came out and said that he doesn't feel too comfortable playing right now. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of guys in the NBA who feel similar, but the fact is, it's here, and it's great that it's here. Yeah. But now you have to do everything in your power to make sure that these cases do not continue to rise. Because if I'm looking at this plan, of having the league go to Florida, and I'm seeing these cases rise in the state and the NBA, my first thought is, okay, well, we need to try to avoid that. We need to make a different plan with these scratches and start over, because this is what can possibly happen. These are the people that's in danger. But I'm sure that, Adam Silver and everybody, they went in with a mindset of, we have everything in place to prevent more cases. And, we've seen a couple tweets, reporters and other players saying that they've got to their place and they've been quarantined. They have to stay there for 7 days, or they got to stay there for 7 days or 2 weeks, and they have to get tested every couple of days. So we have to make sure this goes right, this goes correct.
And you mentioned about testing and stuff like that, and the Brooklyn Nets, for example, a lot of their players, minus Kyrie and Kevin Durant, you got DeAndre Jordan, Spencer Dinwiddie, Taurean Prince. I think I missed another player. That these guys tested positive and won't be down there down to Atlanta for the restart. They did sign guys like Michael Beasley. So Michael Beasley getting another chance in the league. Jamal Crawford, who I'm still kind of surprised at his age that he still can go, but I'm surprised more teams have really scooped him up to just have a guy off the bench for 15 minutes a game. And then, they signed a kid from Alabama who played at Alabama, was in the G League, Dante Hall, to kind of be that backup big behind Jared Allen.
Yeah.
What you think is like if teams test, some players tested positive during this process, or the guys that get as substitutes be more comfortable coming in, or for some of these guys, like the three guys I mentioned right there, a former top pick, Michael Beasley, a guy that didn't get drafted, and Dante Hall trying to make it in the league, Jamal Crawford making his last stand. You think these substitutes will come in and come and replace these guys and play?
Well, they have to. To be honest, man, like the Nets are solid, but I'm thinking they're in a situation now where they're playing because they got invited. So it's kind of like, how can I put it? Like they're like, well, we're here, so hey, Kevin Durant's not playing. KD's not playing. I mean, I'm sorry, not KD. Kyrie Irving's not playing. We have to add some more bodies. So now they're just picking up people because they're in the league. I do think that these players step up, but I don't think that this puts them in a title contention.
Oh no.
So, and I remember, that was the whole purpose of going down to Orlando is to win a title. So I'm not sure if it's okay, we're just here to finish out the season, so let's grab a couple pieces or what, because now, let's just say that they do get pretty far, or they, win a couple games in the playoffs or do a few things. How's this going to look for Kyrie Irving? I don't know what Jared Allen's contract scenario is right now, but if he is going to be a free agent next year or the year after, this is going to be good for him, because I think that he's going to be one of the leading scorers, or leading players on the team, to finish the season out. So that's something that is definitely worth the watching. Because he was already, to me, I already thought he was a pretty solid player as well. I already thought he was a good player, but now we're going to see more of him. So I do see them stepping up, but I don't see them making a huge run, if we're being honest. They're just there to fill the void of the other players. That's about it. But what happens is, I think this is going to show us what we're going to see through this next month and a half, is we're going to see players who may possibly test positive. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen is they're going to have to bring in other players.
Yep.
So we're going to see a lot more players from these different teams, different areas, come in and play for different NBA teams. I think that's something that needs to be noted.
I want to ask this question as well. Okay, say so a player goes down. Okay, and you consider a substitute. Does that substitute get tested before he comes to the bubble, or you get him to the bubble and quarantine him? That's another question right there. I gotta ask.
I think they're gonna have a pool of players that they're gonna be ready to or bring in at any time, and when they do that, they're gonna be already tested, a lot. That's gonna probably decide who they sign, who they bring in, X, Y, Z. But I definitely believe that if there's a time, this is one of the times where they need to really overdo the testing. They need to test somebody every couple of days or whatever the case may be. We're seeing in college football where they're taking away out of conference games. I don't know what the purpose of that part is, but with this, everything needs to. Any game that they have, these guys are going to be grabbing boards, stealing the ball from each other, assists. I don't think we see anybody on the court with a mask on. I don't think so. So I really see it as being something that needs to be done a lot. Now, we did say earlier about a guy or one of the players inviting somebody down to the bubble already. That's probably going to be scaled back, because if somebody do get invited and now they bring the COVID into the bubble, now it's spreading like wildfire. So it's a lot of things that needs to be discussed, because the players need to be ready that's in the bubble, and also players that may enter the bubble need to be ready as well.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention Wilson Chandler. He tested positive for COVID-19, so he won't be joining the Nets as well. So, between that 7th, 8th, and 9th seed in the East, you don't got Bradley Beal going with the team in Washington. And the Wizards, they didn't really have a chance, they had a chance with Bradley Beal if he turned it on, but without Beal, it's kind of like
it's over with.
It's over with. It's over with. And if you're the Magic, it's your chance to move up, a couple positions and not see the Bucks in that first round, and maybe you can probably do some things.
Yeah, this is your chance to be try to get to that next round. You don't want to see the Bucks first round right now. So I legitimately think that we will see the Wizards do like, I think they got, is it Wagner too? Oh no, who was it? But for the Wizards that said he wasn't playing.
That's
somebody.
It wasn't
Bertans? That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So I do see the Wizards are not going to really go too far. We're going to see some young guys on their team as well. But this is a chance for, the Magic, especially with Brooklyn looking how they're going to look, and the Wizards. This is a chance for the Magic to make a move up, so they don't have to, face the Bucks first. But the thing is, what is today? Let me see. Today is the 12th. We have about 2 more weeks. Actually, I have 8. Yeah, we have about 2 more weeks until it. I think we're going to hear a lot more news before then. We're going to hear a lot more news about people taking tests, being quarantined, all this stuff. Like these next few days where everybody's actually in the bowl, we're going to see how things turn out. Because, come on, dude, you already got people invite people to Orlando already. Haven't been there that long.
Yeah. And, with the 3 teams you mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an interesting race for that bottom half of the East with, the Nets with a new makeshift roster that they got to bring in, gel together. Orlando, can those guys, get out of 8 seed and possibly bypass, Milwaukee and I guess get a better matchup with Toronto or maybe Boston. And then for Washington, see what you got in the young guys and plan for the future, basically.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
I mean, but see, to me, how many games we're talking about? About 15 games?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I just want to see how it play out. I mean, I think it's good to, like I said, have the league back, but you're going to see about 15 games go straight to playoffs. And let's see the breakdown. This is going to be something to talk about for years, though. I'm definitely going to tell my grandkids about this.
And one more thing before we move on. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, haven't joined the Rockets yet. What you make of that real quick? Like, is that a big thing, big deal, no deal? Are they getting a lot of stuff out of that system before they get down there? I don't know. What you think?
Well, I ain't gonna lie. Being the fact that they are the leaders on that team, that is kind of suspect. And it's both of them, as we say, both of them. But it's interesting to see what. Like I said, these next couple of days will be interesting because now they're down there to win the championship. So every day counts. This is where the discipline comes in.
Yep.
You can't afford to really miss a practice, especially if you haven't been around each other for months.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care if it's Jordan, LeBron, or whoever. You can't be away from your team, for a certain amount of time unless there's something going on. So maybe we hear some news. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. But I think if we do, those two travel in the pack. So if two were going, if one decided to play, I think both do. If one decides not to, I don't think either do. But like I said, that is kind of. I mean, if it was somebody else on the team, then it'd be a little different. But I don't think that's the case, man. I mean, it's more to the story, they say.
Very true. And I want to shout out to the chat real quick. Shout out to Marcus, Larry B, Terrian in the chat. We appreciate y'all joining us tonight. And you brought an interesting thing up, D-Log, about reporting. Because ESPN's own Adrian Wojnarowski, I don't know, he caught some heat yesterday or so.
Big Heat.
Big Heat. Yesterday, Adrian Wojnarowski, known reporter, scoop guy for the NBA, gets all the scoops. You hear about him or Shams or Mark Stein or others getting scoops, rumors, trades, all that stuff in the NBA. He got suspended for ESPN for making this basically like saying two words to make sure I guys get this senator's name right. Let me pull that up. Well, bam. Let's see. To Missouri Senator Josh Haley. Woj was responding to Josh Haley in email form about the NBA, social media, the social messages they're going to have in their jerseys, D-Lock. Like the league approved social messages on the back of the jerseys, like Black Lives Matters, freedom, stuff like that, that we saw. And Senator Haley tweeted out, if the NBA is going to put social cause statements on uniforms, why not support our troops or back the blue? Or given how much money the NBA makes in China, how about free Hong Kong? Today I wrote to Adam Silver to ask for questions. And that was sent out on July the 10th, 2 days ago. And I guess Woj must have got that email as well, something like that, and they just put two words, say F you.
Yeah.
So
two simple words.
Woj came out and apologized. It was out of manner, out of character for him, for him at all. You kind of see him as like a geeky dude in the front, but damn, I ain't know he had the energy in him.
I'm telling you, that was a shocker to me when I seen that.
I was like, damn, dog, I didn't know you had this in you. But my question to you, D-Lock, these people tell these athletes to stick to sports, stay in your lane, this and that. Don't involve yourself in all this stuff. Don't involve yourself in social issues. But it seemed like these guys and gals, we'll get to the other person here in a little bit, they, come in trying to get their 2 cents and, get their, credibility and I guess, some tokens about their base, and using these guys against, using the NFL, NBA, and et cetera, to get that message across, because, there's a certain segment of the population that don't like these athletes and stuff like that having this type of power and money and all that stuff. If we're gonna be real about that.
Yeah.
Some people out there in this country hate that these majority black athletes in these leagues had the money, power, and respect and kind of influence to do these type of things.
Impact, yeah.
Make a big impact. Granted, we kind of wish these athletes would do more, but sometimes we recognize game. So, what are your thoughts with the senator sent, and was he out of line for that? Or for a state in Missouri that I used to live in, there was never no pro basketball teams there. And I think we talked about it before the show. Yeah, there's be exhibitions that come through Kansas City and here and stuff like that. Like I seen AI play before. They played the Utah Jazz. That group that's like the early 2000s. But other than that, Missouri's a college state, but just about.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that and everything like that?
My thing is with with what he said. For one, it's like he's trying to take the focus off what is very important right now in America. Like, I understand that we are talking about uh, the military. You want to bring that up and bring that as a big deal. But right now, if we're being blunt, you have black people are getting killed by cops, and that needs to stop. Simple. We need to fix that. So it's to a point now where the things that you say you have to pay attention to, because it came off as if you're trying to draw the attention off of what is important. He got offended for that. Woj got offended and said what he said via email. It was bothering. I mean, we understand that the military is important, yes, but we're talking about how important it is to stay in America when every time a black male gets pulled over, there's a possibility that he may not see the next day. And that needs to change. So that is the reasoning for, being able to put what you want on your jersey and saying, okay, well, this is, how we feel. And it seemed as if the senator got bothered about that, to be honest, to me. And I'm pretty sure that's how Woj felt. Dude, everything that you're talking about is important, but come on now. Or is it seriously more important than, the killings of black males right now?
Yeah, it's just like it's our. I mean, the NBA is their own, private entity, sort of, in a sense. Yeah, they going yeah, they're gonna allow these guys have their matches and whatnot. But you know, I read the cases in Missouri of COVID going up, and this dude is worried about what's being presented on TV. Now, granted, I think all eyeballs will be on the NBA because there's nothing else popping right now, TV wise, besides NASCAR, and then UFC and boxing. So, you know, for this guy to do this, and during the couple days that these players are moving into the bubble, at that, because this kind of took, you mentioned, took a shine away from these guys entering the bubble and stuff like that, and trying to get tidbits and stories, stuff like that, and you got this guy, being an opportunist, taking this, some of that shine away, in which, we just talked about the NBA got improved matches what these guys can say. God knows, what these guys will probably put it back in their jersey, if they didn't, the NBA didn't step in and improve these messages. LeBron, talked
Right.
about, he didn't like the approved messages, and he's just going to have his name on the back of his jersey. So who knows what he will put back in his jersey. And we know with LeBron, sometimes he get his way with a lot of things. But for them,
yeah, I mean, he's going to be, he's basically, he's very important to the league right now. So his mindset and what he thinks is huge. So that is true. But it's just like when you come out and say the stuff that you say as far as, oh, well, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. That doesn't sound good at all. Or they should focus more on this. That doesn't sound good at all. So, I can't fault Woj for saying what he said, but I really think that at some point somebody has to step up and say something. And obviously, he got mad and said, "Oh yeah, ESPN's X, Y, and Z and said this." Politics is a hard thing to really get into because that's what they're gonna throw into you. Well, what's more important in the country? Well, right now, you have something that is more important than anything. You have black males getting killed right now. So you're talking about the military and all this other stuff, which is important. But are you telling me that you would think more so about that than the unarmed black men getting killed right now? How many more people have to die for you to sit here and say, okay, well, I need to focus? But that shouldn't happen. So that's a touchy subject because we both are black men.
Yep.
So for me, it's bothering because, I have a family just like you do. We just got married.
Yep.
So to think, worst case scenario, but we got a dude over here talking about, well, the military needs to be number one. And I don't fault Woj for that at all. And him taking that suspension is I'm okay with that as well.
And, with ESPN, they have rules and guidelines, that they really can't be political like that, or they can't. They just got told this line, they just got this, told this line and just keep this corporate face. So it kind of like leave these guys and gals kind of, vulnerable in this speak, in which these other folks that don't have those restrictions, these other media, places can take punches at them, And
yeah,
I talked about this on the Crooks podcast about a couple years ago when I got started doing podcasts. Donald Trump came here to North Alabama a couple years ago to help campaign for this man named Luther Strange. They call him Big Luther around here in the state of Alabama. And he was running for the Senate seat that Jeff Sessions left when he took the Attorney General job with Trump's cabinet. It was him, Roy Moore, if y'all heard of him, and his background, his story. So they were kind of running for that Republican seat. And that's where the infamous, Colin Kaepernick, get that son of a bee out the field and you're fired. That's when that rally came from.
Yeah.
When he came up here in North Alabama to Huntsville to campaign for him. And, Luther didn't win the bid for the for that, Republican seat, that nomination. But, once Trump opened the gates of that, once Trump opened the gates and basically punked the NFL owners and stuff like that, it kind of gave freedom to these other politicians and stuff like that to kind of attack these other sports willy-nilly and dare them to see what they're going to do about it. Are they going to cower? Are they going to do something? This is where we at. And President Trump has done multiple times until I think the NFL kind of finally bucked up at him. But he kind of showed in his power that, dang, I can get these guys to bend at the knee quickly. And this is what, Sarah Haley is trying to do, with this letter to Adam Silver and whatnot. But even, the message for Blue Lives Matter and support the troops come through. well, you see a lot of guys support the NBA. You know,
Yes, that I think is something that is going to be affected the most. Not only. I'm not going to say only, but mainly because it is. We haven't had sports in so long, and LeBron is at the top of the world. He's done so many great things, not just as a basketball player, right? He's done so many great things. So the success that he has on and off the court has been huge. So I really think that you're going to see a lot of people support it, but you are going to see, a lot of people worried about the fact that, like we talked about, like the COVID, like that's going to be something that's huge. That a lot of people are going to say, well, hey, like what are they doing to make sure this is not increasing? You're going to have people that say, well, dang, they feel like sports is so important because they have sports going on with the COVID. Like that's going to be something that's going to ring a lot of people are going to say that. So for me, I do expect to see a lot of people support it, but do expect a lot of backlash as well.
and that's, I think, kind of like the norm in society right now. It's like you gotta be on this side or you gotta be in the other side. And that's where we're kind of like where we're at right now. If you know these players and whatnot, will have these messages on the back of their jerseys. No one's got a gun to your head, to watch the NBA. No, you don't have to watch it. If you know ahead of time what's going to be, what they positions are and whatnot, and some of these guys' positions for years, how they feel about these things. So if you're in that camp that don't agree with these guys say, nobody's, nobody's, got you to, nobody forced you to watch the NBA. We're in 2020. We got tons of other things to keep you occupied with. Nobody's holding you hostage to watch the NBA. Got Netflix, Hulu,
Nope.
Disney Plus, HBO Max is out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that many people can be watching or entertaining, and we know that, and that's what it's been like for months. But now people are going to get to a point where, wow, sports is going on. I have to see what's going on. Like that's just what it is. So, a lot of people can say, "Oh, we don't support," but I guarantee you, when NBA playoffs come around, NBA finals, they're going to tune in because it's something different. It's entertaining. It's oh, I ain't got to watch the same show I've been watching for the past 2 or 3 months. I have something else that I can actually tune in with. That's all that is. And majority of the time, now that we know that, I think that they're still going to grab, a lot of attention, especially with, our Lakers and Clippers. Like a lot of people are going to pay attention to that. And let's just say that it's if a team out east is pushing the Lakers or the Clippers in the NBA Finals or in the playoffs, they're going to grab a lot of attention for that. So I think that's something that is going to happen.
Yeah, and like I say, if you don't like what these guys represent or the message they trying to convey to you, or that trying to bring that their understanding, their hurt and pain, or their opinion, or kind of dialogue to bring to the table to make these changes, then it's not going to be for you. If Senator Haley doesn't like it, then don't. Let's be real. Why waste your time writing that letter to Adam Silver? And
yeah, that's true.
These guys gonna be in their own bubble and stuff like that for the next few months. Yeah, they're gonna be playing and stuff like that. Yeah, it's gonna be on national TV, and I don't know Senator Haley. I don't know his interest. He may be a basketball lover. We don't know. But Nobody's forcing you to watch it. And let's be real, D-Lock. You know, people say they're going to turn, with Kaepernick and stuff like that, they say they're going to turn off the NFL. Or you see people saying, well, it's free up my Sundays and stuff like that. But you see the NFL making, raking in cash hand over foot. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's like right now in the scenario that we're in, a lot of people, like I said, can have that thought process of, oh, well, I'm not going to pay attention or whatever the case may be. No, people are like, this is the reason why, like I said, well, we know the Clippers and the Lakers are playing the first game of the restart.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see this. It's gonna bring in a lot of news, a lot of things that come with it. So I can hear, people are saying, well, I'm not gonna watch or I'm not gonna support. Come on now, like you already know at some point you're gonna actually pay attention. You're gonna log in or you're gonna watch a couple of these games. At this point, LeBron he's actually helping the scenario by how he's promoting everything. So there's no way that you do not watch sports coming up within the next couple of weeks.
And to kind of stay on this message, let's go to the WNBA side of things. The ladies, they're in the same boat as the guys. They're in the bubble as well at the IMG Academy in Florida. Y'all not familiar with the IMG Academy? It's how you describe it, D-Lock? Like kind of like
it's in Bradenton.
Bradenton, yeah.
Yeah.
They get a lot of highly talented kids to come through. And all that stuff, football, basketball, baseball, that. And, especially in the football, basketball world, you see a lot of top schools trying to poach a lot of these kids to come through. Kelly Loeffler, she is from Georgia. I believe she's running for the Senate seat in Georgia for this election. She also co-owns the Atlanta Dream, D-Lock. And this lady, she first gained, my attention, a lot of people's attention, for allegedly for potentially insider trading when she got because her husband, he works in Wall Street, so he knows a lot of inside stuff, and allegedly got tipped off about the stocks and going to crash and stuff like that back in like March, about March or so. So she saw a lot of her stocks and made bukus of cash. And she has come out recently saying that she wouldn't like the message, the Black Lives Matter message, across the league, and especially her team, the Atlanta Dream. And what are your thoughts of her, coming out saying that she don't support the message? She co-owns a team in Atlanta with a good majority of the city is Black, African American. The history and lineage in Atlanta was like
out of all places.
Out of all places. You've been through it. You go to Atlanta a lot. A lot of people ain't feeling that.
Nah, they definitely not. They definitely not gonna try to hear that, to be honest.
So, what do you think the WNBA should do? Are they going to, I don't know, I won't say Dawn Sterling her, but what do you think they should do with her? Because a lot of her players are black on the team. You got like Maya Moore, who stepped away from the game to fight for social justice, and she got that one guy out of prison who was falsely, in prison, got him out. What do you think should happen to her, regardless of her team and stuff like that, and her stance with the WNBA?
With her, she needs to be removed. I mean, again, these are people that are in powerful stances right now. So when they say things, they mean a lot. So you can't, you're saying something about a movement as if, oh well, we don't need that movement. That sounds terrible. At this moment, you're saying things that are offending people, and it's kind of like they're trying to have that. That's kind of similar to having that shut up and dribble mentality. I don't like that. And now, we're talking about the country, politics are huge and all this other stuff, but it's just like now they're trying to make it seem as if, well, we heard you, so just go back to what you were doing. We've heard you enough. We've been through this before. So we don't want to go back to, oh, yeah, you heard us, and now we're going to go back to the same thing. A couple months later, another black male was killed by an officer, and we're going to act like we don't know that. We're tired of that. So her statement to say that, yeah, you are in the wrong place, to be speaking like that. So they need to make some kind of moves to where she needs to be banned. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it sounds harsh, but it sounds harsh when you say that basically we don't want to hear you talk about your struggles as a black community. So I think she deserves, not to be harmed or anything, but it's just like, yeah, your voice, so huge. This is what you say. Okay, we got to take this away from you because you're doing more hurt than help. You're doing more harm than help.
I think if she, and I don't care about political parties and like that, but I know owning a team has some value to it. That's a great thing to have in your portfolio. But you got to know, you know what you're getting into when you own a team in a league that's predominantly black. Let's be real. And with the WNBA, NBA trying to spread this message, if you can't come up with like a better idea of what to promote and stuff like that, and to say flat out no or something like that, or maybe go like a different route, and what you're doing in the league, it's like, okay, I don't agree with this message, so we can't do that. So what you suggesting? Well, not do that. Well, okay. What you have in mind? Well, not do that.
Yeah, like that. That sounds ignorant. That's what it sounds like. It sounds ignorant, and this is the reason why I say when you have people who are not for the cause and more so hurting the cause, they got to go. Simple in my eyes.
And I think for her and the situation, with the stocks and stuff, I think, in hindsight, you think she would be saying the right things or trying to, keep her name out of, the circuit like that. But, it seemed like, her name's been popping up a lot lately. Instead of trying to like lay low. I mean, I know she's running for office and stuff like that, but it's like you don't need unwanted heat on yourself, and especially in a political year. So for her, I just end on this. It's like I don't know, I guess in what they say in politics, sometimes you gotta play the game, and this is like one of those instances you gotta play the game. So I'll just leave that at that.
I mean, yes, yeah, because right now it's just, I mean, country is going through a lot of stuff, but to completely say, well, don't do that. Like, that sounds like you're more so bothered about that scenario than anything. And for me, it just, like I said, it just doesn't sit at all. It doesn't sit well. But your response is, oh well, let's just make sure we don't do this. Yeah, I can't help you on that one. Not only can I not help you, but we gotta get rid of you because you're doing more hurt than help.
And we'll just end it on that note. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, D-Lock, what do you think about? Well, two things I want to ask you. What are your thoughts on Kara Lawson? Becoming Duke women's basketball coach. I know she's been an assistant with the Celtics for past year or so. So her being around that type of setting, how do you think that would translate? Going to ACC play and whatnot, and and trying to be that, I guess, that boy mentality, which has been around with Brad Stevens and stuff like that, and his intellect to the women's side and kind of get the Duke program back and running, to match the men's. What do you think about that hire?
Not bad. I mean, she knows a lot about basketball, as we know. I think she's gonna fit perfectly there. My thing is, it is the ACC, so you are gonna face some tough opponents. What we do know about college compared to pros is it does take a couple years to get a team moving in the right direction. The question is, do Duke give her enough time to do that? They're gonna get recruits to the Duke, but for her system, how she's gonna run everything. Are they going to give her time to be able to fit the players in how she wants, install her system? That is the bigger question. Are they going to give her that time? And if they do, I think this is a great hire.
Well, I mean, they got to give her time because you got to let things, I guess, build. We talked about this before, like, especially in these universities and stuff like that, they give these, coaches, a short leash to like kind of quick turn their program around. And if things don't go right, they got like some booster got like money burned in his pocket to get the person out here and find the next one. It's like, let her come in. She got a wealth of experience. She played under Pat Summitt, one of the greatest coaches of all time, male or female. Been under Brad Stevens, who, which we can agree that he can get the best out of his players that we've seen in college and pros. So, you got to give her time. And hopefully, these girls will see that, what she was in a player in college, what, all-time Olympian and all WNBA player as well. And hopefully, these girls, see that and, buy into what she, selling.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big deal with it. You got to get them to buy in. And once they buy in, I think things are smoother.
And I'm trying to pull up their record. Well, before everything with the season, was canceled in college basketball. The previous coach, Joanne McHale, if I pronounce it, McKelly, she went 18-12. She had an overall record 330 wins and 107 losses, so not a bad record at Duke.
Nah, not at all.
Her for a career there. So, and she, for her, she had some really good squads in those 2000s. And, you know, Karen Lawson's coming in to, I guess, like build upon that, kind of, you know, restore that, I guess, greatness in the women's program. Because, you got to contend, Florida State, and also your in-state rival of North Carolina as well. And then also, since, Notre Dame, quote unquote, is part of the ACC, they got a new coach as well, but they always have good squads, so you got to also contend with them as well. So,
she's gonna have some competition now. That's for sure.
So she's gonna be a person I think we'll keep an eye on and see how things go. And then another thing I want to ask you before we get out of here: the NBA potentially or trying to get like a second NBA bubble going in Chicago with the rejects, so to speak. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, basically. Dude, I don't think they should, but you know how they're trying to get as much, they're trying to catch up and have as much going on for the league, because they know how much basically that the world needs sports, or wants sports, shall I say. I'm sorry not to say need, more so want. And the thing is, their approach behind it isn't bad. It's just, come on, dude, like some stuff is just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it'll be different if we're talking about like 30 or 40 games, but we're talking about like we're talking about like 15 games. So are they going to add more games on for them to like finish the season off? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, but we are talking about, again, we're talking about a couple games.
I don't know. My mentality with that, is like, me and my dad talked about this. Like, if you're the Warriors, why would I want to do that? If I know if my chances, the lottery is the top 4 pick, hopefully it goes in top 3, why would I come back and play games for? Why won't I risk my my guys' health, which
exactly.
Which I highly doubt they'll have like Steph, Clay, and Draymond and Andrew Wiggins playing. Well, why would I want to do that to myself? Now plus I got a head coach that has back issues. Why don't I want to subject myself to that?
Exactly. Again, it goes back to what we were saying as far as money. It seems like it's a money thing. And that's why I'm saying, like, come on now, dude, 12, 15 games?
It don't make sense. It really don't make sense. Like, if you're Atlanta, for example, I mean, yeah, you'll get your young team trying to get out there and get some playing time and more cohesiveness. But Clint Capella, since he's been traded to Atlanta, hasn't played at all. And if he's healthy, good to go, would you try to rush him out there? In which,
For what reason?
For what reason? And that's a person that you're trying to get healthy best you can for next season. Trot him out there and maybe you could trade him for something.
But I don't know. I think, man, I know that it's money motivated. It just is speaking to you. It makes it seem like it's money motivated. So they need to have a different, like thought process if this happens again. That's why so much is being shown right now.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just like y'all doing a bubble right now. I think y'all got a grade A plan in place, but y'all gotta see how things go before y'all try and do X, Y, and Z. Because, you still got some players being shaky about showing up. you know, you testing these guys, multiple times, and God knows, we'll see what happens if they get multiple tests happening or positive tests happening. We'll see how they react to that. So it's like doing too much. It's like it's great that the NBA is taking all these precautions. Unlike we see what the WWE doing, but this pump the brakes, fellas. Let the other team stay.
Yeah.
Let the other team stay at home. You got too much money and you got too much value in the Warriors to kind of trot those guys out there for next year and to see how things go.
Yeah, I mean, they're fortunate. They're fortunate right now. To me, they're big time fortunate. And my thing is, when it comes to that, what are you getting out of that? Like, what are you really getting out of that? So, but like I said, I guess. I mean, what's going to happen when they're in Chicago? Are they going to play the 12 to 15 games and then go home? Like, are they going to? Yeah, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some stuff is like, what?
And not only that, where are they going to have the games at and stuff like that? See, over Orlando, I mean, you can convert a few things, and you got the lucky using that sports complex that ESPN has down there. But in Chicago, I mean, where are you going to set up shop at?
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of wish we had AC on the chat. I kind of wish he was on the chat and kind of ask him, where these guys, if they do that, where are they going to set up at? And if y'all not checking out on Chi-Town Weekly with AC, please do. Also, Chicago Sports, please do check that out. But I kind of wish he was in the chat to answer that question. If they win that plan, where would these guys play at?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think they did. They did as much research as they did on everybody going to Orlando as they like. I'm sorry. I don't think they did as much research on they did for Orlando that they're doing for Chicago. I think it's just more so of we were thinking about it, but they wanted to make sure Orlando was situated. And then, like you said earlier, they're just trying to, let's just throw these other players, these other teams into this area. Like I said, I really think that money is very much involved into this.
Yeah, and money's factoring all these things. Let's be real. USC, NASCAR, golf, WWE, NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL, college sports. It's money, obligations. So we'll see here in the coming weeks if things go great.
We will.
If things go great, then I don't say things go back to normal, but it's going to be a test study how these leagues go about doing things, in this, pandemic. I know it like
better not mess it up.
Yeah. So we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. And I know we ran a little bit late, but a lot of things discussed tonight. So
yeah, it was a lot of things.
So thank you for joining us tonight. The NBA is back. These guys are practicing right now. Enjoying life in the bubble the best they can do. So, but things, the stories coming out, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a loaded show again next week. D-Lock, how can the people find you on social media?
Definitely can find me Black Dash 813. Black word dash. I always have to say word dash because some people put actual dash. Dash 813. Also have a YouTube channel. Dentarius Lock. You'll see how to spell my first name on Instagram and Twitter on my page. So tune in. I mean, we definitely gonna cover a lot more different things coming up soon. Let them know where they can reach you at.
You can find me on the Crooks Process on Facebook and Instagram. That's my other podcast that I do. I recently did an episode reviewing the 2019-2020 Alabama men's basketball season. And I did a review on that. The review of the season, the basically like whole roster turnover. Like the roster is like night and day, D-Lock, of the new recruits, guys transferred out, and the guys going either pro or staying in the draft. I mean, going pro or coming back to school. So it's a lot going on in Alabama. So
yeah,
it's gonna be curious. It's gonna be a team to keep an eye on next year for all the new recruits. So I did talk about all that. So follow me on Twitter, Spawn4288. You'll see the link for the in the description box. It'll take you there to that site and enjoy and listen. But thank you for listening to us, ladies and gentlemen. Do check out iesportsradio.com for further details on other shows. And we'll check y'all later. Peace.
Out.